Death is maybe the ultimate grief and the ultimate tragedy because it has that finality to it. You know, just say the word death and people right away shudder. Death sounds like the end. Someone died, they're gone. Story is over. But when you understand that reality is a bigger picture than just what you see, then you really come to realize death is not the end. Death is just the end of one stage. It would be the equivalent of saying, take a piece of wood, I put it into a fireplace, and then the wood dies. Yes, the wood will no longer be wood, but it's turned into energy. It's turned into fire. It's turned into warmth, into light that continues to live on and just in a different form. You take water and a liquid and you boil it, it turns into gas. You freeze it, it turns into ice. So you see there are many forms of the same reality. I used to always be frustrated, very difficult when people say, where did the soul of my mother, my father, my child go upon death? You know, you don't really have words. But then, I don't know, one day I had an epiphany and it's somewhat a little funny and humorous analogy, but it works. And I said, imagine a dialogue, a conversation between a refrigerator and electricity. And the refrigerator says to the electricity, where do you go? And they pull the plug. And the electricity responds like with incredulousness and says, what kind of nerve, what kind of chutzpah do you have to ask me that question? You're a little box they just invented 100, 200 years ago. You figured out how to generate and contain me, the electricity, to refrigerate food, and now you think you're the center of the universe. You ask me where I go? I've always been here. I've been here long before you ever existed. And I'll be here long after you die because I don't occupy the space of your little box. That your little box can only see what you can see. I go back to my place, which is outside of time and space as you know it. Everyone who hears that, even people, they say, of course. I said, that's what we need to discover, that the soul lives in a very different type of domain. We're just not soul people. We're body people. So we judge everything by, I don't see it. It's not here. But that's not true. In this room right now, even if all the people left this room, it's not an inanimate room. It's, it's pulsating and brimming with all kinds of energy. We know that today. There's no such thing as something that's dead. The word dead is not even an accurate word. Now, I'm not taking away from the tragedy of that stage ending because I want to be able to embrace my loved one. Yes, I understand their soul lives on and it's consoling to hear, but I want them on my terms. I want to be able to hold them. I want to be able to talk to that person. I want to be able to kiss that person. So I'm not dismissing the tragedy is that it's not in our domain, but no one ever should say, and no one should ever think that a soul dies. Souls never die because they weren't born. They were here before and they just occupy a vehicle called the body for a certain period of time and they continue their journey. And it's very consoling. And the fact is that, yes, the soul of your son, Jacob, whatever time that he, as he developed in the womb of his mother, lives on somewhere, hopefully through you as well. And the same is with every soul. So again, I've experienced the death of my father, so I am aware of the pain. It didn't even though I'm fully aware of the soul, I still cried because there's still that element that it's not on my physical plane. You know, that it's some spiritual plane. And we're not spirits. We are spirits within bodies. But the more you connect spiritually, the more you'll connect to the soul of the loved one. And in that sense, that never ends. Soul never dies. And the more soulful you can be on this earth, the more you connected and the less the finality of it is there. You know, you realize there's much more to the picture.